Hi. Sorry for this awful lighting, but it's late. Um, I want to tell you how to make your collection your own, but it's hard because I already made this video. That's why it's so late now, because I took it down again. Because I don't know what's actually legal and what's not. And I don't want to show anything into this camera that is potentially illegal. Like I don't pirate games, which is clearly illegal. So that's not the question that I'm having. Um, it's like modding consoles illegal. I don't know. Is putting homebrew software onto your modded console illegal? I don't know. So it's kind of hard to talk about this topic, but I think making your collection your own is kind of the solution to this problem that you have when you're a collector. Like, where do you stop? How far do you take it? What do you buy? What do you not buy? Like, for example, I love Secret of Mana, and of course I have the Secret of Mana soundtrack on CD and like 3 different reimaginations of it on vinyl. But I also have the Seiken Densetsu 1 and 3, so Secret of Mana 0 effectively, and 2 soundtrack on CD. I don't like these soundtracks. I've never played Secret of Mana too much, and the Seiken Densetsu 1 soundtrack that's a Game Boy game. That doesn't sound so amazing. You get rid of those. Just keep the Secret of Mana soundtrack, right? Um, and when it comes to making your collection your own, let me give you some examples that are safe, and I'm fairly sure that that's legal. Okay, this is the Goner soundtrack. I own this on Steam, the soundtrack as well. This cover artwork comes from the little file package you can download as the soundtrack. So this is a cover that comes as a JPEG with the soundtrack download. And I printed this on a CD, right? You always, when you download soundtracks digitally that you might have bought, they often come with like a cover image that I never really knew what to do with outside of like pretend that's like the cover of the folder or whatever. Well, I put it on a CD. And if I'm so inclined, I can also put it on a rectangular piece of paper and put that into a jewel case and put this CD into a jewel case. And then I have the Ghana soundtrack on physical disc and can put it into a shelf. And I'm pretty sure this doesn't exist physically at all, but I love it. So it's great to be able to have it physically and not just be like a burnt CD with Sharpie saying Ghana OST on it, you know? So this is one way that you can make your collection your own. Like, burn your digital soundtracks that you bought, because that's legal, um, on CD, and then make a cool label for it, make a cool jewel case for it, and put them in your shelf. That could be a cool thing. Another cool thing, if you own DOS games on GOG.com, because we're keeping it strictly legal here, because I'm scared. You can download the files for your bought GOG games, right? And then run it with DOSBox. Or you could run it on actual hardware if you have a DOS PC still. And to do that, you can buy a bunch of old diskettes. I think these are called floppies, but these aren't floppy. I know what a floppy disk is under the shelf, and therefore C64. This isn't a floppy in my book. These diskettes hold games that I bought on GOG.com. And then I made custom labels that are sticky. There are labels like this that you can just print on and then you can stick them on stuff. And that's pretty amazing. That's another way how you can, take like digital stuff you bought and put it on physical media, make your own labels and stuff for it, put them in a shelf. That way you don't need to buy like super expensive, rare old diskettes somewhere of eBay that might not even work anymore because this magnet stuff is it's complicated. It wears down or whatever. And one more example would be I talked about this thing, right? It's a cardboard slipcase that if you put it on the shelf like this, you will never find again because it's so thin and it doesn't have a spine. Well, I scanned this and then I printed this. Oh, that's my face. It's kind of creepy. And put it in a jewel case and the back as well. Yeah. And then the inside as well. That's the CD right here. Call it a backup copy. And I even made a custom spine for it. It's probably very hard to see in the slide. But this has Diablo 2 soundtrack, trust me. And you can put this in a shelf. And it works so much better than putting this in a shelf. Another way to make your collection your own. Of course, if you're a criminal, you can hack your consoles and like put ROM hacks or something onto your consoles. But I wouldn't know anything about that. So I guess it's all the ways I can think of to make your collection your own. Right. There's a thing. The 3DS. This is my 3DS, right? I bought this back when it was new. The power button is down here. I hurt my thingy today. And when I play the 3DS, new 3DS XL, because it's so heavy, I instinctively go like this. I rest it on my pinky. Guess what is right here below my pinky? The power button. Do you know how often I was playing a game and the system would just shut off because I was unconsciously resting this thing on my pinky? A couple years ago, I bought all versions of all DSs that there are, like 2DS, 3DS, new 3DS, old 3DS, XL, not XL, to find one where I didn't have this problem. Well, I happen to know that if this thing would be hacked, you could go into like a menu, like a hack menu, where you can turn off the function of the power button. And then you can turn it on again, the function, when you want to turn off the system. And that way you could play it and rest it on your pinky without being scared to turn off your system on accident because of this power button being placed in the worst possible position ever. So that's another way to make your collection your own. You can actually mod your things, which I would never do, to better suit your needs, right? This thing, I hope you can do case mods at least. I hope that's legal. Like, look, that's a cool case mod. I didn't even do this myself, so I'm not the criminal here. I just found this on the street. Some criminal must have modded this to look this cool. Same with the Switch. Look at how cool this is. I don't know where this came from. I didn't do this. Or did I? No. Of course I didn't. I don't want to go to prison. Look how cool this looks. Your Switch could look this cool if you would be willing to commit a crime, I guess. This is going off the rails. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, have fun with your stuff, you know? Don't just collect these pristine boxes and the Secret of Mana 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever soundtrack just because you like one of them and you don't know what else to do with your money. No, make it a hobby. Get into it. Sorry, that was a weird move. I'm just itchy here. Make it a thing. You know, make your stuff work for you. This power button business with the 3DS. How amazing would that be if I would be willing to commit a crime and mod that thing to work in a way that wouldn't be really annoying? Yeah. RPG Maker games. They're free, um, but you can only play them on your PC or in RetroArch, which that must be legal, right? Sorry, this whole video is just about me being confused on not knowing what's legal and what isn't, so I don't know what I'm afraid to talk about or what I'm not. But you get the point, right? Don't just buy the things that are available. Okay, one more anecdote. The Heroes of Might and Magic 3 soundtrack, I have that on vinyl. Looks amazing. Only problem is that in game there's like bird ambience, and a lot of these tracks on that vinyl are from like the overworld when you play the game, and they for some reason decided to put these bird ambient sounds into the mixes of the music tracks on this vinyl, but they're so repetitive and mixed too loud. You cannot listen to this vinyl without at some point going like, that's the 10th time I've heard that bird in the last like 10 seconds. What's happening? Why is that so loud too? So it's really hard to listen to this release of this soundtrack because of this weird decision. But if you play by the rules of what's released and such, that's the kind of only way you can get this soundtrack. Bummer. If only there would be a different way to get the soundtrack onto a CD or something that wouldn't have these annoying bird sounds. But I guess it just isn't meant to be, just like the power button of the 3DS. Guess you're not allowed to hack your consoles. You have to forever hold it in the weirdest way possible as to not accidentally turn off your console. Also, I heard somewhere that if you mod your Switch, you can put AM2R onto it, which is a game that Nintendo cease and desisted to make not happen. AM2R is another Metroid 2 remake. Yeah, I heard that you can actually put that onto a Switch if it's hacked. But I would never do that because that's illegal. Okay, that's all. I think I'm fine to release this video, hopefully without going to jail. Bye!